After the party is the after party. Welcome everybody. Welcome back. Hope you enjoy the show today. I am your host Ray. With me as always, we have Material Life.
Hey y'all.
Welcome, and we're welcoming back Shisha Core.
Hello, hello.
And also for the first time I brought him on here, my man Shining Wolf.
How do you do today?
How's everybody doing?
All right.
Pretty
On my
good.
All right, all
Really
right.
good.
on the grind as usual.
That's good to hear. So today's video is it's complicated. It's from a YouTube channel. It's complicated. Have y'all heard of that?
Nope.
Mm-mm.
Okay,
Mm-mm.
it's this guy is out in Vegas and he just usually asks people in the streets like,
Oh yeah, I know who you talking about. I know exactly who you talking about. Okay, yeah.
okay,
Go
you
ahead.
know what you're talking about. So
Mm-hmm.
he be asking people in the streets these questions. So what what I wanted to do is um when he asked these questions, I wanted to hear y'all answers too. Just, so I figured we could just do a little bit of that today. So are y'all ready?
Yeah.
As
Ready.
ready as I have ever been.
All right. Let me just set this up.
Hmm.
Y'all can see that, right?
Yep.
All right.
See it.
Yes.
Okay. Just so you know, every time I hit play, it might just throw you in mute. So if if y'all like don't hear yourself, just know that every time I'm gonna hit play, and this is different from the share screen. So every time I hit play, it might put you in mute. So just remember that. So let's
Okay.
let's do it.
Would you agree that sex is something that's shared between two people?
Yes.
I don't know if it's
Why
me,
do men have to
but
pay a higher
the
price in
volume is
order to have
really
access
low
to a
on this
shared
video.
activity?
It is. It is.
You said the volume is really low.
Yeah, it's like they're not really talking.
The volume is lower than my self-esteem.
That's, damn. Hold on. Let me. And I might just have to share the bit through the share screen thing now. Because I know when I used to do this stop. So hold on. Let me go do the other way. Y'all can see, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree that sex is something that's shared between two people?
Yes.
Why do men have to pay a higher price in order to have access to a shared activity?
So they, so y'all heard the question, right?
mm-hmm.
So what answer?
Yes.
Okay, so what
I'm gonna let
answers
the
do y'all have?
I'm gonna let the ladies go first, but I got an answer for that. But yeah, I'm gonna let the ladies go
No, go ahead.
first.
Since your answer is at the tip of your tongue, go ahead. We would not want you to forget it.
Oh, I'm not gonna forget. I'm not gonna forget. You can go ahead. Go. I want to see what y'all gonna say.
What was the question?
I think Material Life got kicked out when the guy asked the question.
Got
Okay,
kicked
I'll
out.
remind it for. You can hear, right, B?
Yeah, I can hear it.
All right. So I'm gonna just repeat the question.
Would you agree that sex is something that's shared between two people?
Yes.
Why do men have to pay a higher price in order to have access to a shared activity?
That was the question.
Okay.
I mean, I guess the real question is who is saying that men are actually paying a higher price? What is considered a higher price? That's the real question.
Well, men have to. Well, they're supposed to pay for the date. That's a societal standard for the most part. They got to pay for the date. They
The date
have
that you're going to
to.
participate in, that you're going to be involved in.
Yeah, but you got to pay for her as well. You got to pay for yourself and you got to pay for her.
Hmm.
Then you gotta do all the courting, you gotta guide the conversation for the most part, because they got these stereotypes that women talk, but they don't always talk like the stereotypes say. So you gotta lead the conversation a lot of times, not all the times, but a lot of times, and you gotta lead
Hmm.
the whole interaction. You gotta organize and lead the whole interaction. So you're doing a lot of the heavy lifting when it comes to like the dates. A lot of times you're supposed to pick them up, drive. You're supposed to, and everybody don't do that, but you're supposed to pick them up from their house and drive them to the date. All these little things.
When I hear a higher
So
price,
And
it
that's
just
so
sounds
the
like
bare
there's just
minimum is considered a high price.
I mean, when you have the most agency in that situation, yeah, that's a higher price. The other person is just kind of like there.
Yeah, but that's because you're only looking at it from your perspective, what you're doing on your end. But what if the woman had this? I mean, she felt the same way on her end. She has to get ready and prepared and have to be in this boring date with this guy who's talking this nonsense. Like everything you're saying, she's saying the opposite of all of that. So technically, how is that he's paying quote unquote the higher price?
I don't know. Like dates is a lot of money. Last time I checked, especially it depends on where you're going to.
Right.
You can be spending up to depending on you can be spending up to like $200 $300. Even though I wouldn't
Mm.
recommend that for a first date, you gotta know how someone feel about you before you start spending that type of money. But some people try to do it big. Some dudes try to do it big and flop, and then they get mad. That's kind of their
So
fault too. But
is it
some
safe
people
to
require
say
that.
that?
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, well, is it safe to say that guys are paying higher price because that's what they choose to do in terms of no one asks for all this extraness? And since
Some
you are volunteered to do all of this because you want sex at the end of the day, and you feel like that's the way to go about to getting sex to pretend to be this nice guy that's going to take the woman out on a nice date and have great conversation with her, but all along in the back of your mind your only agenda was to sleep with her and then kick her to the curb and move on to your next victim.
Damn, that's a lot of projection.
Exactly.
God
But you
damn,
see how easy that could be
what
turned,
dates have
right?
you been on? God
but a lot of women require expensive dates though. Some women require it and they call you cheap if you don't do it. Or if you take them to somewhere that's like, more like casual for a first date.
So the woman goes into the date, not saying all women, but most women goes into the date thinking, well, he's trying to sleep with me, so I got to get the maximum out of him. And most men are going into the date, I want to sleep with her, so I know I'm going to have to provide the maximum in order to show her that it's more than that. But when in reality, it's not even that serious.
that's that's still a lot of projecting,
And it's
man.
so funny because there are people that'll meet each other. Like, let's say you go to a club and people meet each other people meet each other and have one night stand.
Hmm.
And none of that what we just talked about was required. So it's like even going back to this question,
Honestly,
what
hon-
is the high price that guys are paying?
honestly, when I actually sleep with a woman, I don't pay for shit. We don't even go on a date half the time. It's either we already out or we already out and we meet while we already out doing separate, not
Hmm.
necessarily coming to meet each other up, and then we just go back and do what we do.
And this is
Like
like on
I
a
never.
first meet,
This is not necessarily always on the
like a
first
meeting.
meet. It's on
Okay,
like the first meet we click. The second meet is like I'm coming over to your house. That's usually how it is.
understood.
I never been on a date and actually had any type of real connection. Like majority of the time, I can't even really think of one where it's like, okay, we're gonna go on a traditional date. I pay for shit, and then uh, my TV's listening to everything I'm saying and writing it on the TV. That's crazy. But yeah, I never like actually did that and actually got anything out of it. Not even like a friendship or relationship. It's weird. It's weird that shit turned out like that. But yeah, traditional
So
dating never
you're
got me anything like that.
what you're
Not
saying that
even one night stand.
when you go about doing it that way, like the whole date, dinner, conversation, you never get anything out of it. You feel like there's no compatibility, and it's just a waste of time. Or you
Either me
saying
or
you've never
them.
done that at all to even
I'm
know
saying
what?
I'm saying I've done the traditional dating route. Like,
Okay,
oh, we're gonna go on
got
a
it.
date, we're gonna talk, try to get to know each other. That shit never done anything for me. I'd be having one night stands. It'd just be like, hey, let's come out, let's hang out. Hang out. You don't hang out me. Let's chill. Like the Netflix and chill type of thing.
Gotcha.
Or it's like we just happen to run each other while we out and connect, and then it goes that way, like naturally,
Understood.
or coworker or some shit like that.
Not
But never
you
did.
playing where you work at.
Uh, well, I work at people coming to go, so I don't.
Hey, sorry, no.
I was gonna say, well, to me, when I hear like guys pay more or whatever, when he was asking the question, it just sounded like he was talking about a prostitute.
I
So I
can't I
was
can't really
so
hear you clear. You kind of foggy.
Can you hear
I would
me?
like to hear what you're saying.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah.
I said when I heard the question, it sounded more like he was speaking on a prostitute. So I don't think it really related to the whole concept of like dating, because like Shakur said, it's really not that serious. Like if you're willingly choosing to do certain things, if first of all, if your date bracket isn't going to like some 5-star restaurant and the girl you're like wanting to date wants you to go to a 5-star restaurant, then clearly y'all not compatible. So just cancel that and figure out somebody that's like, more your style.
Yeah,
But
that's
when
true
guys
because
pretend like, oh, it's so expensive, there's nothing expensive. Going to the park, you can find somebody who will gladly go to the park, walk on the beach with you, and be so happy about it. But when
you
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 go above and beyond and then get mad because you went above and beyond and then didn't get anything back, that's your fault.
you're right though because guys be tolerating so much bullshit because they desperate.
And some girls be messing it up for the next us who got standards because they desperate. So there's desperate.
Desperation.
Hello.
You're on mute. Material life. Yeah. So both of them tend to be desperate, and that's all I have to say.
Okay.
Because actually, there's actually a lot of women that will go Dutch. If you don't know what that means they'll pay their
50
half
50.
and
They'll
50
pay
50.
their
Yeah.
half or their portion of the
Because
food.
hmm
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm done.
Oh,
There's a lot of girls that go 50-50. So I mean, and they be fine. Some of them be fine too. They don't just be just anybody. They be ready to go 50-50 out here these days.
okay. Let's see what they have to say.
Because we got to take the time to get ready and we got to know our value on that.
What do you mean? Because there's also women that have to pay a lot more money on lots of things in generic.
Well, I'm saying like typically it's expected like guys have to kind of like approach women, pay for dates. They have to like kind of like court women and treat them and buy them dinner.
Because originally in olden times they owned us, and we want to be taken care of. So you kind of
It's
just
not
have.
olden times no more.
Okay, so wouldn't that mean that women basically dictate the rules?
I think that women do dictate the rules at the bottom line of it all, because at the end of the day, every man, for the most part, is going to want that release. So,
Based on
Y'all agree or disagree?
I'm still stuck on the audacity of that question that men think that they are actually doing so much. They're paying such a high price for absolutely nothing.
A lot of times it is for
I'm
nothing
I'm
though.
I'm still stuck on that because I'm still trying to figure out what is that men are doing besides the bare minimum that a man's supposed to be doing that he feel that it's just the audacity for me. Like I'm just stuck on that. Like I'm highly offended. So I have nothing
Well,
else to say.
I think a lot of the females answered the question the same method you answered. So I think they all felt the same way in regards to the fact that men assume that they're overspending more than females, I guess.
Mishikor, what is the bare minimum to you?
Yeah, I would
The
like to know
bare
what's this
minimum,
bare minimum.
everything that we spoke about, the ideal of having a quarter woman, the ideal of taking a woman out to eat, the ideal of conversation, dinner, pulling out chair, being a gentleman, bringing flowers. I mean, you being a
Oh Lord,
man,
oh hell
like
no.
that's
Hold on, what
bare
type of date is this?
minimum,
This the first date
right?
or what? What is this? The first date, second date, third date? You talking about bringing flowers? That's like that's like establishing a connection type of shit. That's
What?
not a first date.
But
First date, you
if you're
trying to
not,
see if y'all even like each other because a lot of people out here these days they well let me put it this way, not people. A lot of women these days they going out on dates for a foodie date.
my thing
You
is
are you
the
wait,
ideal of us going out on a date is us coming to that point that okay, there's something there and we want to move forward with it. We're not gonna
that's
figure
the
that out
part.
on a date. I'm not wasting my time to go on a date and have conversation with you that I can have over the phone and figure out if you're someone that I actually want to be out in public in front of it sitting at the same table in front of each other. No, we're gonna figure that out over the phone
Well, that's
conversation. Within a few conversation, if there's nothing there, there will be no date. So you can keep your flowers, you can keep your whatever, and we're just
well.
gonna put an end to it right then and there. We can build a friendship and see where that
That's the
leads. But
But
going
that's
out on a
you
date,
though.
that's a bit of a stretch. We don't have
That's
time for
that's
that.
how you run it though, but that's not how
no,
a
that's
lot of these
that's
women
that's
run it.
the basic minimum of a date. Dating someone means that there's possibility that you see hope and future with the person. Y'all be mistaken talking to somebody, getting
Is
or
dating.
to dating someone.
No,
The talking
I said
stage
go out on
or
a date.
the hi hello stage, the dating stage leads to marriage. People be in talking stages for 20 years. For what?
Mm.
And then
Because
You in
because
getting
if
her,
we're
you're in
going
the
on
bringing
a
her
talking
date, I'm
flowers.
stage.
expecting flowers at that point.
Okay. So let's course correct this then. Okay,
If you're in
so
the talking stage
so
for
okay,
2 years, you need to give that up.
right, no bullshit. But yeah, but okay, let's say a guy wants to go out with a girl and get to know her,
Mm-hmm.
and he's expected to pay for all this and all that, and he don't even know if that woman even likes him.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the situation that we talking about right now.
Right.
That's the situation that we talking about. Not
So
dating as like, okay, we've established a relationship. I like you, you like me, and we're seeing if this can be like a long term thing. That's not what we're talking.
Is it
That's
a
not what people
blind date?
mean.
Is this a blind
What
date like
exactly?
two
What exactly is a
friends?
blind
I
date?
would more so
Blind,
consider
a
what you're
blind date
saying,
is,
like just mingling, meeting people, connecting, getting to know
Yeah,
people. Then
yeah, yeah.
that we're doing,
That's what we're
because
talking about
dating
here.
would be like the next step. But even
Okay,
in
so
that
yeah,
case, when we're mingling, there's no obligation. Whatever I choose to do and whatever you choose to do, then that's just what it is. It's just like going into a casino. We're going to bring money. It's a chance we're going to win. It's a chance we're not going to win. It's a chance we don't know what might happen.
the
But
house
there should be
illusion.
no high expectation. And you shouldn't feel obligated to do anything for me, and I shouldn't feel obligated for you to do anything for me in return.
that's what makes
So,
sense to me. But that's not how a lot of people. That's not how some people
No, that's
carry
how
it.
right.
everybody think. Y'all just assume everybody just on this city girl lifestyle. There's,
I ain't
I think
assuming
guys,
A
that.
lot of
because
people
you
is on
you see
City
the
Girl
Megan the
lifestyle.
A
Stallions,
lot
the
of
City
people are,
Girl,
even the married
the
ones.
Cardi B's, um, a- all these like entertainers right now are speaking on this cash money, and then you got the influencers who's all on this BBL cash money lifestyle. So y'all just assume that the rest of society is also moving and functioning this same way. But the talking stage, guys have misconstrued the talking stage, and girls have taken the talking stage as a free lunch date. And the thing is, y'all have allowed it to continue on and fester and grow to this big thing, and then get
Yeah,
mad when, y'all done took these people on these massive dates, and then didn't say, well, I'm
Spent
only
your
paying
rent
for mine.
money.
spent
Yeah.
your rent.
And when the person came to take the bill, to give you the receipt for the invoice for the bill, and you didn't tell them, can you split the check, and get mad because you paid for this for a full meal and thought you was getting something with this full meal, to find out you're not getting nothing. Homegirl going home to give it to somebody else, or
Give it
to
to
like
her
just
her
do
ex. Give
nothing,
it to her ex boyfriend.
and then you get mad.
She going to get
Y'all,
the Douglas
y'all have
from
never,
Douglas.
y'all barely talk on the phone, barely message each other, barely, you don't even know her favorite color, what she like, what's going on, where she work,
or
what she do.
or her
And
last
then you
name.
taking her out to go eat, and
Or
she
her last name.
accepting it for a
Mhm.
free meal, and then you get mad because you paid for a free meal. You could have went and told the waitress that, oh, can you split this bill in half, or it's separate
But
bills.
then, okay, but then if you do that though, right? Then
Who
you be
eats this?
called a lame, a brokey, and all this other shit.
Well,
Which I
that's
guess
fine.
you shouldn't really
Clearly
care what
that's not
people
the
got to
person you
say.
need to be
Right.
with.
Yeah.
Because if that person feels some type of way, clearly they ain't had the finances to be out there. And you going out on date, that doesn't guarantee that the guy is gonna pay for you. It's the same way. Not every guy is guaranteed you gonna find you that guy. You can train them up. You can oh, if it's a guy you need, that's going, some guys are raised properly, that's going to open the door, going, he's talked to you on the phone several times, he likes the conversation. It's not just, oh, people going on one dates, or they get on the phone, they get to talking cash money about their sex life, and so these guys going to take them out on dates because they done had some strong conversation about what they can do in the bed, to find out they ain't getting that opportunity, and they thought they was getting it because the conversation was steering in that direction.
That nigga much.
Like, we gotta start being honest about, you know, let's not try to pretend like, oh, it's this city girl, hot girl summer, city boys session. It's everyone is allowing everybody who's going through these situations are allowing it, are okay with it, and then getting their feelings. No, if you cut it out from the beginning, it wouldn't grow. If, as a female, if you know you want, like, you don't talk to this guy and you feel like, okay, he's compatible, you want to get married to him soon. I'm not, first of all, I'm not about to be on the phone talking to you about, oh, how great my sex game is, because where am I taking you? To my bed
How
or to
great the
the
slurp
altar?
action is.
Is like, I've already in your mind that you're expecting some hot freaky sex because that's the conversation we've been having. And so when these guys get these girls take them out on dates and then not getting this type of action she giving on the phone, they get in their feelings. And some girls are aggressive. They see you, they finally get to meet you, they're like, damn, I want to smash them. So that's my little spill.
Who are these niggas that just be? I don't know.
Who these niggas that what?
That I don't know. Maybe I'll just.
I don't know. My thing
No,
is
what
like
niggas that what? I want to know what you say niggas that what? Who are these niggas that do what?
pay for dates.
No, because I've paid. I've always paid on the first date. So that's. It's,
I bet you wasted a lot of money too, haven't you?
no, I've never spent over $100 on the first date. So that's
Well, the real
Mm.
question, have you guys ever went out on a date and told the girl to split the bill?
no. I've always paid on the first date.
Yeah, because
I don't
ideally,
think you do.
ideally,
I
as a
do. Yeah,
woman, I mean, first of all, nobody's having that conversation. Hey, we're going to go out on a date and we're going to split the bill. That conversation, I don't think it has ever been had in history. Maybe it has. I don't know about it, but I've never heard of it. So the
mm-mm.
ideal of thing that I'm going out on a date with a guy, there's a possibility that I'm going to have to split the bill. That don't even come across my mind because ideally, if I'm going on a date with a man, I expect the man to pay for the date. And if we don't have that relationship, that type of, you know, if that's not where we're at, then that's a different story. We're not going to call it a date. We're
Yeah.
going to call it two two associates or two whatever that happens to be in the same place together having dinner. But there's no obligation there, which is understandable. But if I'm taking a time out to get sexy and to whatever and come out and I don't have it in the back of my mind, I'm not splitting no. I mean, I would rather just pay for the whole thing and walk away, but I'm not splitting.
I get sexy for
That's just
first hangouts. I
I
try to
was
put
about
on
that's
to
my best
say,
just
why
foot.
is it that it's just only the women get sexy? The men don't dress up nicely. It's not like we coming
It
out
is.
there.
I
no,
wear
but that's what I'm
cologne, all
saying
that. Hmm.
though. All of that, I would hope so. I would
I was
hope
about to
the
say,
man get nice and handsome and sexy.
they can come out there white beater and jeans and shit and look like James from Lady Boy.
No, we're not doing that.
She
Every
got that.
you
Unless it's a chill, laid back type of date. I don't know what kind of where we're gonna be going, but I mean,
No.
I've seen
Well,
it.
we got to stop calling it a date. We got because we keep on calling
yeah.
it a date.
So
It's not a date. This is
Right.
yeah.
exactly.
Just
Any
first hanging out.
It's a first hangout. That's what it is.
yeah, so
Right.
anytime like I'll meet any of my homeboys or anything like that, like let's say somewhere, wherever, like we not dating,
Oops.
nothing like that. Literally when the waiter comes in, I said, "Can you split the tab?" And they'll be like, "Why you said that?" First of all, I don't even. It's not even about why I said that. I don't want you to think that we got something. That there's because
Yeah.
you paid some money that you're expecting some favor.
If you
It's not
my friend,
necessarily. It's
But
not
that's not even the
necessarily. Hold
case
if
on.
you my
though.
Hold
Yeah,
on. Hold on.
because
Hold on.
if you my friend, I'm not thinking that. Like B, like
at all. Yeah,
like
No,
I would pay like B, I would pay for like your lunch and not think I'm getting anything at all. It's like if
Ray,
you my
would you pay for my lunch?
yeah, I, I pay
Would you
for
pay for
people's
my
lunch.
lunch, Ray? Say
I pay,
that.
I pay for people's
All
lunch.
right. Well,
I
at least
just,
you're consistent with it.
yeah. Matter,
yeah, but
matter of
even
fact,
with my
remember the
platonic
first time we
friends,
went to
me just hanging out, like I'm
we went to
not.
Otakon, Clarence?
What a gentleman.
Yo, Clarence, remember the first time we went to Otakon? Did I pay for everything?
Everything or food.
I paid for everything. It was just like the bus.
Oh yeah, yeah, yes you did, yes you did, yes you did.
Yeah,
Cause
because
you asked me to come, and I
yeah,
originally wasn't planning on coming at all.
yeah, and I was like, well, since I'm like,
And I don't think I had a job then either, so that would have been impossible.
yeah, no, I worked at Pizza Bowling, so I was like, well, I
Yeah.
brought him out here. I might as well just just. It was an adventure, but it was an adventure. But every person out is like, if I tell you like we going somewhere, and it's just like, oh, I ain't got no money. It was just like, I got the money. I got you. I don't like. there's been a couple of times where I pay for women's food and not expect no sex. It's like, so that's why sometimes I'm like, who are these people that's just expecting sex?
Right,
When
exactly. Because I
No, but
mean, I don't.
like usually, what I wanted to say before is that usually when a guy is trying to court a woman or is interested in a woman, he doesn't want that first date, that first outing to be the last outing. So when it actually does become the last outing, he paid money. He had an expectation of not necessarily sex, but for things to progress and get, further deep into it, not just be like a one night date. Sex is sex. Of course, if you got that in mind, sex is eventually going to be like the thing you're going to be into, or it is something that you're into, but you're not expecting that first date though. And then
yeah,
when
I was
it's
about to say,
like there's no callback or she ghosts you, that's like, okay, now you're mad because things didn't turn out, or even things wasn't really even entertained to that degree that you wanted it to be. Like you at least want them to entertain you enough where they get to know you. But instead, you paid for a date, you never talked to them again. They stopped answering your calls and your text messages, and now you just spent unnecessary money that you probably should have kept in your pocket. Not probably, but you should have kept it in your pocket, in my opinion.
yeah, I'll be honest. I'll speak for myself. I'd never expect sex on the first date unless it's like literally like if it's like during the date, it's literally like getting to that moment. I don't ever really expect sex on the first date. Uh, so but that, like I said, I'm speaking for myself. Just,
Yeah, well, this
I think
new era,
yeah, because I think it's
I
stupid.
don't expect it, but
but
boy, I
you
get
may not
lucky.
expect it, but
I be getting lucky though.
75% of guys nowadays are
I
like they don't even want to take a girl out.
based on my experience, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen in the first two meetings.
Yep,
If it doesn't happen in the first two meetings, it's probably not going to happen. And if it does happen, it's going to be months to years down the line.
I agree.
That's been my experience. But if it don't happen in the first two meetings, maybe three, if it don't happen in the first 2 to 3 meetings, it's not going to happen at all. You're probably in the friend zone at that point, or
All right.
non-romantic zone.
To non-romantic.
Yeah,
All right,
cause
let's.
cause cause niggas be looking for romance. You be looking for romance too. It's not just all sex.
Mm, I agree with
Cause
that.
cause believe me, there's a difference between the just sex and then romance. Cause I can have sex with a chick and not really think anything of it, and they think something of it, and I'd be like, it was just a release for me, and then they be into it, but then there'd be times where it's like I'd be really into them and want like the romance part. So the two can exist separately. It's not always just sex. Sex is involved, of course, but it's not always just sex. Is what I'm saying. If that makes sense.
Yeah, understood.
All right, let's get back into the video.
Based upon this logic, since men are physically stronger than women, should men be able to take advantage of women physically?
What
Physically,
the
yeah.
fuck? What the fuck is type of what? That don't sound right. Hold on. Play that again for me, please.
For the most part, it's going to want that release. So,
Based upon this logic, since men are physically stronger than women, should men be able to take advantage of women physically?
That sounds rapey as shit. I don't like how that sounds.
I feel like
The answer is a solid no.
That sounds that sounds rapey as shit.
I
That
feel like he's
definitely
going
sounds
like.
rapist.
Well, that's the thing about this channel. Like he'll throw a question out, and then it's just like you'll see where he's going with it. So
All right, well, I gotta see where he's going with it because
yeah,
so far I
yeah.
don't like how that sounds.
It does sound wild as
Should I
fuck.
be able to take the booty? That's what it sounds like you're saying.
I like you and I want you.
That's what he sound like right now.
All right, let's see if
But
it
yeah.
goes.
Physically, yes, because we're strong.
Building your online business?
Raymond,
Wix.com.
get the YouTube Plus or the YouTube Pro, or whatever the fuck they call it.
I mean, not all men are stronger than women. I know some really strong women. And if you're talking about strength, there's physical strength as well as emotional strength. Like there's so many different types of strength.
Specifically, I said physically stronger.
Okay, sorry, I didn't hear that.
But in general, I'm not saying like obviously there are exceptions, but in general, most men are stronger than most women. So should men be able to take advantage of women physically?
Oh, definitely not.
So why should women be able to take advantage of men just because they can?
There you go.
Oh,
That's another thing of people
How?
allowing someone to do something and then be in their feelings about it. Because females are not taking advantage of men. Men are allowing themselves to be taken advantage of.
she's not
Well,
wrong when she
no.
says that. Men are allowing a lot of these things, and
But
then
how are you guys being taken advantage of? Like, from a guy's perspective, I don't
misled.
quite understand. Oh, okay. That's it?
Misled, but women get mad at for the same thing when men mislead them, make them feel like he don't necessarily always say it, but make them feel like he's more interested in her than he actually is, and then when he doesn't deliver on what the woman feels like was implied, then she gets mad and she hates all men and all men are dogs and liars and blah 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 blah. All they want is sex and all this other stuff.
I will say this: men don't really pick up on social cues as quickly as women do. So
Yeah, they
this is
don't.
like
That's a thing too.
which is why I tell men to learn how to read body language, because the
Hmm.
body will tell you quicker than she will verbally tell you. So I think a lot of like with that, a lot of
A lot of women are socially awkward too, so they won't get. So they will be like, they will give like all the body cues that they're not interested, and then ask you later, why didn't you do this or why didn't you do that? Or why didn't you try to come and talk to me? And they gave you no body language or social
which is
cues that they was interested at all.
which is why I tell men to learn how to read body language.
No, they don't give it all the time. That's what I'm saying. Like,
No, no,
what I'm
this,
saying.
no, I think there's at least I know a bunch of shy women that like you could tell when they're interested in you. Like it's not as obvious as like Hinata and Naruto, but it's on the lines where just like they'll show some interest in you. Like
I
they'll
don't
like
know. There's a lot of women that's like real socially awkward out here, and they don't give noticeable cues. Some do, and you can read it like immediately. And you like, oh yeah, yeah, I could take this somewhere. But then there's other ones. It's like I have no idea where this chick is going with this with her energy.
Some guys are like that too.
I believe it. Apparently,
Yeah.
I hear that I'm like that. They don't know if I like them or not because
Yeah.
I'm very stoic in person. I'm silly on here, but I'm very stoic in person, especially
Mm.
if I don't know you like that.
Yeah, I know a few guys that are like that.
well, yeah, that is like it's. I think, well, at least in my opinion, I think it's easy for a woman to manipulate a guy, especially if you don't know no better. It's
Yeah,
just like,
especially if he don't know no better. If he wet behind the ears in the dating game,
yeah, he'll definitely get easy manipulated.
yeah, get finessed.
Yeah, a lot of dudes do get finessed by like he said, girls that only go out unless he's like paying and all this shit, and then he is known as free food in her phone. So
But that's because the dude, like, I ain't gonna lie, I ain't gonna lie to you. That's because I do agree with her because a lot of guys be dumb. I mean, there be guys that's like 40 and they be letting women do that. And I like this. If this woman hasn't tried to hook up with you or be in a relationship with you after like a year or two, and you still paying for dates and paying for clothes and paying for this, and that you a dummy at that point. That means that she ain't gonna do it.
Well, this is why two things. This is why I tell men to learn how to read body language, and
Learn some
yeah,
game too. Shit.
and this is why I always tell men to go to a strip club because you can learn game from a strip club because their whole purpose of getting your money is how much game they got. So you can learn a lot of game in the strip club.
And like if you really want to stretch it out, I use the 3 week rule. If you really want to stretch it out, like if she's being real modest and like if she don't want to come off as a hoe, use like the 3 week rule or some shit. That's what I do. But if it goes too far, if it takes too long, it's probably not going to happen. You need to put your energy and money elsewhere.
Well, first of all, it ain't tricking if you got it. I know you guys heard that saying. Secondly,
A whole lot.
But you can
if
still
your
put that shit
agenda
elsewhere.
is to
Elsewhere.
buy her in terms of you gonna pay and do all of this stuff just to get sex, and you're 3 weeks in and you're not getting any, then yeah, I mean that's your
If
bad.
you don't get intimacy, period. It is not just the sex. There's people confuse the thing with sex. If you're not getting intimacy of some kind, period, within like a 3 week, no, 3 meetings. First of all, you want the girl to be into you intimately. If she's not into you intimately, it ain't worth your goddamn time.
But that's not always the case, though. I mean, it all depends on the
Mm.
individual too, because depending on where that person mind, what space they are in, it might take more than 3 weeks. One or two meet and greet might not be enough. I mean, there's layers to people that we got to find out nowadays. So I don't think, within 2 to 3 dates or 2 to 3 conversation, that should be enough to be like, okay, this is it. But then again, it can be
Not this is
depending on
it.
that
I
person.
mean, I mean intimacy. Not this is it. Intimacy. An intimate connection. Some type of intimate connection, romantic connection, something.
Yeah, but that's kind of like false because you can have an intimate and romantic connection with somebody in the beginning instantly, and after a few conversation, it dies out, and it can be and it
That's
vice
true.
versa. So I mean, that really don't even mean anything because that lust is nothing but a fickle feeling. It comes and goes.
like girls can like sit there and like hold your hands or put like she'll like lean over you and then put her arms on your shoulders or she'll kiss you on your cheeks and she'll like giggle and laugh to all your unfunny jokes or she'll like accidentally touch your legs while she's talking to you, give you all this feeling of like like you matter, like she's paying attention to you, or she'll like accidentally let her foot like touch your foot, like your legs.
They have a word for that. It's called bombing, something bombing, love bombing or something.
Yeah, they can do all of that, give you that intimate, like where you feel like, oh, that, like this person is 100%, and then they will go home after they do all of that, get fed real well, go home and sleep on the couch, and then don't, and then you message them good night, and they won't respond back until the next morning or like afternoon, because the morning time they have to pretend to create a conversation for a long time, but towards the afternoon you can be like, oh hey, just woke up, with the falseness. um I don't know if I want to do anything today, or should go to like the park or like do it like a picnic, make you feel like, oh okay, she's not a gold digger, but clearly she's just like finessing the system for right then and there. So it's like,
She's
y'all,
trying to make it not
like
seem
that.
like.
Yeah. So I feel like it's really you, like, because girls can finesse the system and guys can do the same thing too, and they sit there and they look at these unrealistic expectations and think this is like what life is like. If a guy is fresh into the game and then the other guy tells him, well, if you take on days, spend 300 or y'all see these social media posters that's like, oh, I spent $500K on this girl. Like,
Jesus.
if they a munch, point blank period. Like, you just a munch, and you gotta just stand 10 toes down on being a munch. But then to say, oh, girls are just so like, or the girls are like, all they want to do is like have you spend money on them, this and that. No one's forcing no one to do anything.
Not a real one. Not a real one. Dress, I be messing with them. I don't be. They be ready to go half, and I'd be like, no, I got it. But sometimes I let them. Sometimes I don't.
But
And to
It'd be like that. But yeah.
No, you gotta go.
That's what I'm saying. Like they be going after these ones that's like expecting that shit. And I'm like, y'all fucking up.
And then they get in their bag because they was expecting a different outcome.
But just to piggyback off what you were saying earlier, Ray, when you were saying that you got to read a woman's body language, and same with men, men have body language too. But you can't always put all your eggs in that basket because some people are naturally flirtatious people. They have great personality. They are people. They are
That's true.
social.
That's true.
They know how to
That's
have
very
time.
true.
They make everybody around them feel at ease and welcome. And, some people might take that the wrong way. Oh my gosh, he got a thing for me. She got a thing for me. When in reality, no, that's just me being who I am. So you also got to be careful with that so you don't,
She's right. She's very right on that one. Yeah, I've seen that. I seen that with a coworker. Like she would be like very nice and kind of like real open to people, and then people would assume that
It's not
she was
flirting,
trying to get some. Yeah.
It just seems like you're flirting from somebody looking outside, but the person itself, to them, they're not flirting. They're just that's just their natural personality. To someone looking from the outside, they were like, damn, she always flirting, always kikiing, always smiling with somebody, like, or she's like always like she just makes you feel like you're important. And to them, they feel like, oh my gosh. But it's like, no, that's just like you don't even. I'm like, I don't even know how to flirt.
But I think like even nowadays,
about 5 seconds to ask you what's your pickup line.
I had to Google search.
Nice weather we have here. All right, let's get back to the
next question.
I don't think they should. I never said I agreed with that.
Wouldn't it be taking advantage of men by making them pay a higher price for a shared activity? Is that not taking advantage?
Yeah, but I guess when it's not something that you're instigating, when it's something that's an overall club or management, it's kind of out of your control.
Why are men subjected to forced compliance?
Oh my God, that's a hard one. Hold on. Men are weak at the end of the day, so it's all up to them. So, what do you want? You want to be celibate, or you're gonna have to cave in at some point to what we want?
You ain't gotta do a motherfucking thing. I don't cave in for shit. You know I'm combative, and I still gets the pussy. So yeah, you ain't gotta do a motherfucking thing. If she want it, she want it. If she don't, she don't. And you be an agreeable little bitch boy ain't gonna really change that much.
Okay.
Exploit women's weaknesses?
I don't think they should, but we do it, and everything should be leveled out, kind of.
Got a technical background, looking to go remote and get paid more, become a software engineer.
Which of the following do you think women find more satisfying? Actually having sex or knowing that they hold the power by withholding sex?
That's a good question. What do y'all think?
What was the first part of the question?
Withholding somebody. Women think they hold the power by withholding sex. Is that what he was saying?
I just reminded. Hold on, I got you.
of the following do you think women find more satisfying? Actually having sex or knowing that they hold the power by withholding sex?
Which is
Oh,
which would you find more satisfying?
I mean,
They're both stupid.
Yeah, I don't feel like that was a good question myself either.
right. I think the term
Yeah.
satisfying was not the best choice of word.
Yeah.
Do you like hold?
Because
I guess he was saying. Yeah, go ahead. My bad.
no,
It's
I
like,
get
are
what
you
he's
stupid?
saying. I guess from a woman perspective, I mean, ideally, there's more power when you hold it together and not give it. But then again, looking at it from another angle, the I don't even want to say what I was going to say. Never mind. But go
Now I
ahead.
want to. You don't just giggle and then say, "Oh, I don't want to." No, now I want to hear because I want to laugh too.
No, I was just gonna say, I guess looking at it from another angle, if the woman felt like she's the best in bed, then I guess she would feel like giving it up, and then that would also that's some form of power that she'll have over the man.
Mhm.
But ultimately, I think keeping yourself together and not, you know, letting that man into your space in that way definitely it's more satisfying than anything else. Because if he walks away, guess what? You remain whole and he's not walking away with any pieces of you.
I feel like the question was just stupid in general because it's like saying which one is more satisfying, going to hell or just being evil. Like what? Like knowing that you have the power but not giving him sex, is that more satisfying? Or, having sex with a person, is that more satisfying? They're both the same thing.
Not necessarily, because
Not
if you hold more power, because obviously the goal for most guys is to get the sex. So as long as they're hunting you down for the sex, technically the ball is in your court. But as soon as you give them exactly what they want, two things can happen. If what you give them is enough for them to, I guess, what is it called? If they're oh, what is that word I'm looking for?
Give him the sex.
Oh my gosh, I can't think of it.
What time is it? Okay.
It truly depends on the female you're talking about, because there's some girls like who does BDMS, SM, whatever, and like all the
BDSM.
demonologic things and all that other stuff. Them not giving somebody the sex to them, that like fills them up with power. That just makes them go wow. And
Yeah,
some girls doing the do just makes them feel like that top tier chick. So depending on who you talking, it's like some of them will feel better about doing it and like just getting it out, doing it, because some of them are just like what's that thing called when people are like they love to have sex all the time.
Nymphomania.
Nymphomaniac.
Yeah. Some people are that, and some people are the type that they get power in, like, like making someone crave them. Like it just drives them wild. And not giving it to them, but like feel like, like everyone is like praising them and they want it so bad and they just can't get it.
yeah, and that's what I was gonna say. If the woman gives her power, quote unquote, and this guy is whipped, and this guy has never had a partner like her sexually, then obviously the ball is still in her court because she has him under control.
Mm-hmm.
But so I mean,
But some guys can hold conversations with girls and and they'll never get it, but like just talking to her, being around her just makes them, and like it makes the girl, like the girl knows she's just that type of chick. Like she can
That's
hold
that
deep
friend zone shit
conversations
right
with
there.
you.
no,
She
I mean,
can,
mental stimulation is a thing. Like, I mean, to be
yeah,
able to really turn a woman on mentally, emotionally, without having to, you know, physically touch or anything like that, that is
Oh, you talking
way
about
better.
spitting game?
No,
yeah.
spitting game sound like you spitting some bull crap. I'm talking about
Spitting that, spitting that
deep,
flavor, spitting that
some
flavor in
real
her ear.
deep, digging
that's
deep
what
in her
everybody
mind. Like
is.
that's something like, oh my God.
digging deep in her what now?
Her mind.
Oh, I ain't trying. I'm trying to dig deep in something else. I ain't trying to dig deep in
No.
But that's what the guy
that.
was talking about. Like these are like, and I say they're both the same thing. Like some people, it depends on who you talk to. Like some people, like sex to them is just not really
It's not a
like
big deal.
yeah. Some people they rather like you mentally stimulate them. Like
Right.
they know, like they know how good they are. Like they just want to see like them holding it hostage. They feel like they winning. And it's not about number count or nothing like that. It's just they don't want to. It's like I can give it to you, but to make the urgency that you want me so bad and keep on wanting to like to create that explosion is more satisfying than to just give it up to you and boom 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 we call it a day.
It could be over after that too. If you think about it, something like, especially if you don't live up to expectation, then that little surge you get from them desiring you could be over if you give it.
Exactly, and that can definitely happen.
Yeah.
That is definitely a possibility. You can give it to them and then they realize you have the worst um
Boom boom.
man part or woman part in the world. And they're like, dang, that sucks. Or you can hold it hostage, get married, force a marriage, and then give it up and now they stuck.
Just
But the
like the
worst,
old days.
yep. You can only choose to grow with each other and get better with time. Well, then there's a possibility the girl would divorce you when she realized you trash. So I don't know.
Mm.
Back in the old days, you was trash. They're still holding hostage. They was just like,
Yeah, because there was no
we'll figure it
divorce.
out. Now it's like I need
You're
someone to
stuck.
satisfy me in bed. Also,
Yeah. In the old
I
days,
need
you
a
was like stuck with it.
master that satisfy me.
Like, I got you now, laddie. Now you're stuck with me forever.
I need a freak in the morning, freak in the evening.
I guess that depends on which woman. I mean, some women don't.
he give me rapist vibes, like
I mean, they
allegedly.
really just enjoy.
God damn, is it because he bald with a scruffy beard?
No, because remember he's the same guy who said like he feels like if a man physically strong, they should be able to take advantage or whatever.
You talking about the
And
white
then
dude?
this dude right here with the red jacket.
I don't think he meant like should as in like he'll take it like I think he meant should like like biology men are stronger, so
Nah, he said to take it. And then even for this conversation they having right
I
now.
know what he was saying. He was saying, should men take advantage of their advantage? But if men shouldn't, because he knew you was gonna say no, so he's saying, why should women be allowed, socially allowed to to use their advantage against men? That's what he was
Yeah,
saying.
that was the secondary question that the guy asked afterwards. But the primary one was still we all felt there was a rapist vibe and he answered on the primary question. And then now he's answering this question in regards to sex in regards to like, is it better to just have it or to wait? And the way he laughing, I just know he about to say something that's
He about to say, have it. That's what he about to say. Watch.
let's
All right, let's see.
I'll tell you, he gonna say something crazy.
All right, let's see.
Their intimacy. But then you do have women that do enjoy the power that comes with it.
Having sex.
Yeah, having sex.
Why will women often withhold sex when men have a stronger biological need for sex than women?
That's also a weird question.
Play that question, that particular question again. What was the question exactly?
I'm convinced this dude, whoever it is that's asking this question, is real life upset at the world about some girl that played him 300 times over and then didn't want to give him sex. He done paid for the date. And, he wanted to take advantage of her because he's physically stronger than her. But, his moral compass wasn't allowing him because that's what it's given.
I guess. I don't know.
Why will women often withhold sex when men have a stronger biological need for sex than women?
Because it's choice. If you don't want to have sex, why would you have sex?
Like, be accessible all the time. That's not
Yeah, that's kind of a weird question.
Oh,
They withhold sex because they don't want to have sex with you.
Yeah, that's like point blank period.
Right, because if a woman really, really wants to have sex with you, a lot of times they will. But if they don't, then they won't. So. And if they do, they'll fight themselves on it.